This is love, I know it's true. I won't forget you. It's for you forever. It's It's for you Forrest Gump.
Hello there, and welcome to the Second Life Book Club. My name is Draxtor Dupre, and it's not October the 16th, and KB Brookins is not with us. However, we want to celebrate their work today. We had scheduling conflicts and we had some technical issues, but we do want to put KB's work into the Hall of Fame of book club guests. KB Brookins is a young Black American. That's how they identify themselves. And KB wrote a memoir, which I have here in front of me, at the age of 29. And I was completely blown away by this memoir. And then I picked up other works, poetry. There's several poetry collections out. And there's also on KB's website, we'll get into this also, as you can see around here in our venue. Other collaborations, poems, collaborations with artists, visual artists, and also this one here over here. Let me cam over here. Nothing was the cause of their deaths. Poems on the Harris County jail system. So KB is not only a poet, a novelist. Well, I don't know if a memoir counts as a maybe it doesn't count as a novel because it's real. Uh, but also an abolitionist and an advocate and an activist in the LGBTQ plus community. Now let me start off with reading a page from the memoir Pretty, which gets us into the topic, and this is from the chapter Male Disprivilege. In April 2020, I started my medical transition. In the belly of a pandemic no non-politician or non-scientist could have predicted, and looking into a year when I couldn't find one reason to not take risks, I did the thing I'd been thinking about on and off since I knew it existed. What I've seen in the mirror since I was young, a genderless black being who wants the outside world to see them that way, couldn't be actualized unless I had medical intervention. The things that tied me to womanhood were my voice, my chest, and my body shape, so I decided that to live in the world more authentically in the gender-ignorant eye, those things had to change. I couldn't have predicted what would happen next. Within 2 years, I had top surgery and started HRT, meaning my boobs were gone. My upper body was stocked up with muscle. My voice was 2 octaves deeper, and I had hair sprouting out and staying put everywhere on my body. I had enough itchy stubble to feign the outline of a beard, and the things I was told would be cons, balding, acne, and aggression, had been minimal to none. Second puberty has been subtle, then gradual, and now constant. If then KB saw me, they'd say that, besides the beard that still needed to come in, I've gotten everything I wanted out of a medical transition. The social transition, though, is what gives me pain in different ways every day. So that's from Pretty, a memoir by KB Brookins. Absolutely astonishing, absolutely visceral, brutally honest. Yeah, what can I say? It starts with KB's childhood.
Why is it?
Oh, so wait, I hear a voice off camera. Let me cam over there. There is somebody floating in the air. Hello, Shyla.
I just, you used the word brutally honest, and I like to think in situations like this that it's just honest.
Right.
Like perhaps it seems brutal to some people, or or whatever it may seem to them, but it's honest. It's just being honest. And I think one of the things KB offers is, um, from reading their poetry, is this ability
To be
to
brutally honest.
to tell
No, I know.
us,
Yeah.
well, to tell us what's really going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? KB has a poem. I'm not going to read it today, about about after their transition, being welcomed into the male community, and the difference between interacting with males um, as a woman
Hmm.
and post surgical transition, right? And the difference, and I have to say, I don't mean to belabor this, but there is a difference in, for the gecko. The gecko is often initially identified as male because it cross dresses, and there is a different vibe when it's revealed that the gecko, the person behind the gecko, is not male.
Hmm. Hmm.
And these are truths. They're not, maybe they feel brutal, but if we could just get to where we could say, these are the truths of it, then I think maybe, I don't know, but I would hope that this rigid structure that we're placed in could be uh, done away
Shyla, you're hovering in a. I agree with you, and thank you for pushing a little bit on this sort of cliche wording of brutally honest, which you're right about. It's a term that is so overused, and what does it really mean? Um, what struck me with this memoir, one of the things was um, that when KB transitioned and they write about being then perceived or by people outside basically seen as a black male, and KB writes about that they did not have time because they grew up as a girl. They did not have time to get used to being perceived as a black male, which in our society is associated with, frankly, a level of sort of brooding violence that could go off at any point in time, right? And that was one of the things in the memoir that I found really really striking, where this page that I just read, the social transition into um, the transition into being in tune with who you see yourself as vis-a-vis how other people then decode you, and
with. Right.
all the kind of norms and then baggage that comes with it. um, those are two really different things. Shyla, since why are you hovering there? Oh wait, yeah, you're
Oh, I'm
hovering.
reading poetry.
Okay, can you read, because this is one, and actually I'm gonna cam around one more time, and I'm going to put the slur of this location here. This is on Book Club Island number 4. I'm gonna put the slur of this location into the description of the video, of course. But we put up a bunch of poems here, and you're in front of the Tattletale poem. Would you mind reading it? I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I'll read this one.
This is from
Tattletale from
Freedom House.
Right, a great. Oh my gosh. I'm first before I read, I just want to say I've I've be, begun reading KB's poetry just because of its importance. I just
Hmm.
think it's really important. It makes things real that I think are very I don't know what to call them, but are are just not thought about or presumed,
Do you mean
right?
important in the sense from that perspective, from the perspective of someone who is, well, frankly marginalized in today's society because they come from a group that is being pounded upon, a very vulnerable group, LGBTQ plus group.
Yes, I mean, on more than just that front, of course, and and I think it's all ethereal in general to people, and the way KB writes poetry, I feel makes KB's story very real. Like there's no to me uh, uh, discounting this because this is KB's experience. It's human, real, um, and I like it. It's truth, and it's a truth we don't hear enough about. So here's Tattletale.
Hmm.
This country lied. I mean, told a story about me. I'm sorry. He said, I have some nigga from the hood that asks for too much, less than 70 years after integrating schools, less than 70 days after banning books that tell folk he segregated schools. She said I am a liar. I mean a tattletale, 'cause I'm telling you, but I'm telling you, mama. They spent 400 years telling tales about slavery. I mean that they sinning, not me. Anything I've done, they did. More times, too. I can't believe any pronoun telling tales about me. Ain't killing, erasing, or just plain old lying a better word for it? Mammy, you have to believe me. I believe you. Say sorry. Okay.
That's Tattletale from Freedom House. Come down
Okay.
here, Shyla, while we're talking. It's weird you're you're hovering around. I'm gonna read this here. This is on the wall. KB goes home for the holidays. I draw the line at making my voice squeak, pushing it back to higher registers. I make the sand sink as I swiftly move my leg from one side to the other at they will notice the facial hair. Should I remove it? And doing it. My pores and thighs have worked too hard for this. I shave, tell him be back in 6 months and want to love my grandmother the way I already do too much. I elegy the prickly bush getting flushed down the drain. What can I tell the sand squished in between my toes now that I've moved the line back again? My stomach earthquakes when Uncle asks, who is this? As I speak. I betray myself to answer that question. So this is just after the transition started. This is a photo here. It says me shirtless 1 week after top surgery. This, by the way, is a picture of KB as a baby with their biological mother. KB was adopted, which is another really interesting part of the memoir, I have to say. Uh, the interesting uh, the constellation because he's adopted by older people, right? So it's essentially a generation removed It's almost as if he grew up with his grandparents, um, in terms of the generation. And again, these are adopted. These are adopt. What do you call it? Adoptive parents. So that relationship is, of course, instrumental as any relationship with parents is. Um, Now you Shala, you like poetry. I mean, you think poetry is important, but again, my question, from earlier, or can you elaborate on why this is important? I forgot what term you used, but the term that people don't, or what I heard you say is that people really don't care about these things, and I think,
It's ethereal.
hmm
It's not really real. And then
what does that mean?
uh,
You mean for
it
general,
means it's
you mean
it's
people who are
distant.
so
You
we're
see
talk
it on the TV,
right.
but you
So
don't.
we got to clarify. So we're talking about from the point of view of the general public, a person transitioning from one gender to another one is something that obviously most people don't encounter in their uh, circle of friends and family, right? Because the numbers are fairly small number. But as we
Yeah,
discussed, Shaila, is that it's outsized, and this is what is so problematic, of course, like many other issues. It's outsized in media representation in terms of it
yes.
seeming to be the end of the end of the world, the end of culture, and the end
It's
of humanity.
it's used as a distraction,
Hmm.
right? Instead of opening the door, and I'll, instead of opening the door to appreciate a greater range of identification, and to say welcome. And because isn't there a desire to find ourselves? And I'm not sure
Hmm.
who I am, to be honest, but when I identified as a lesbian, there was the thought that I just wanted attention. I wanted to be different.
Hmm.
And that is the pushing back and the keeping it ethereal. She's not really, she just wants attention.
Hmm.
And so all we get really is the, I call it propaganda.
Hmm.
Are you, and I'm not, I was going to discuss some of them. I'm not. Presume anything that the news has spread or that the internet has spread about being transgender, about being a part of the LGBTQ community, um, that it's just one, not true, and two, it's it it bothers me so that it becomes bigger than the person. So when the person is seen, they're not seen as an individual to get to know. They're seen as this issue. They're seen
Hmm.
as an issue.
As an issue, yeah. And let me just clarify because I think it's obvious, but when you said in the beginning, okay, it's a distraction, what we're talking about right now is the way stories that evolve around uh, gender, transgender human beings, the way they're presented in most mainstream media is a distraction because they do focus on issues that are not issues. And what you're basically saying, we have this wonderful opportunity to frame these personal stories as stories of empowerment. I just wanted to clarify that. But now you're talking about the other thing, um, which is of course that human beings are reduced to an issue.
Dehumanized. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's right? That's, to me, dangerous. The dehumanification of anybody is dangerous because humans seem to be the most important thing. And if you don't qualify, I think it puts you at intense risk. Intense risk.
Human beings are important. I
Because
thought
if you're
AI was
not,
more important than humans, but anyway.
oh my gosh, let's not start.
No, no,
That's
no.
not the topic.
It is.
But but that is the issue, and we've seen it throughout history, and we see it today.
Hmm.
That's why I believe the transgender is it Awareness Day up, um, and that is a day in my as I recall, like when it first came to pass. It's a day more of memorial,
Well, on
which is
November
so
20th
wrong.
is the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which was founded by
Yes.
Gwendolyn Smith, and I think it's an important day because what
Mm,
Transgender Day of Remembrance does is commemorates people who died a violent death because
right.
uh, of their transgender of their belonging to a transgender group.
But this is this this holiday or day. It's not a holiday. This day exists because of the dehumanization of
Yep,
transgender people,
yep.
and and uh, I want a day that
Celebrates.
celebrates.
Yep.
Right? That's what I want. It's I don't know if I would invite anyone who has never been to an event um, uh, to go. I think it's one of the most powerful um, remembrances I have been to really understand. And when I was young, you know, I had bottles and things thrown at me. I was never, though I never felt my life was on the line. Uh, and I don't know. It's just so wrong. I knew somebody in SL. They've left, and they were transgender, and they didn't use voice, and they taught people how to sail in second line. And if they happened to have to use voice to explain something, often people would immediately leave. They would say, "Oh, this is, disgusting. I'm out of here."
Hmm.
And they would refund the money. And my position is, don't refund their money. They're
No.
the assholes in this. Um, not not you. And I have to say, I think they left in part because of uh, the attitude just too many people have.
So
Why don't
two
we want to
a couple of
know what
things
is wrong?
a couple of things real quick. So let's just contextualize this. You're talking about your experience as an activist in gay lesbian rights in the 80s and 90s. Um,
Right.
and so I have just a quick question. What do you see the difference? Is it getting better? Are there accomplishments to today? Or is it different? Because I hear a lot of people saying, I wish KB could be here because uh, they may say it's getting a lot better, although they were not I think they were born in 1996. Oh my God, people are so young.
No.
It's ridiculous. Um, and of course the inclusion of other people with who identify differently is also something where society at large often says, in a very hypocritical way, of course, that they say, well, yeah, the gay and lesbians, they're fine, but these other people, they're crazy. So
Yes.
it always shifts, and people very conveniently forget that the struggle for marginalized groups was brutal back in the day. But you're basically saying you had maybe thrown bottles at you, but you didn't have to fear for your life, which is a reality with transgender folks.
Right.
So,
And
in a nutshell, is
you
it
know,
a little better? Is there your assessment, broad assessment?
I don't think I'm in a place where I can make that kind of assessment. I think that um, representation, uh, realistic representation, is important uh, to rehumanize, or actually, just in this case, humanize people. But there's sometimes a backlash to that, right? It gets on. We've seen shows uh, on television, and some of those shows have gone away and created these again, um, these distractions about that generate fear about transgendered persons, and that I don't I, I don't know how to fix that really.
Well, I would say that
I don't badly,
okay. I mean,
but time is not something we have. People are dying now.
right, and humanizing quote unquote humanizing people, quote unquote different people in a pop cultural context can backfire in the sense
Yes.
of again making it having certain identities just fill a certain check mark of a certain identity, and the big goal should be, and that's what I get through KB's work as well, should be to just completely just normalize everyone as a human being. I mean, the cool thing about KB's poetry, and let's get back to the poetry as we're wrapping
Yeah.
up this little appreciation here. The poetry centers around, I wouldn't even say it centers around uh, KB's identity. It just centers around KB's experience, like any good poet. I mean, in my mind, should put their work together. I mean, at least work that would interest me, right? So it's not something that one would find, hopefully not, I don't know, in the transgender section of the bookstore. I mean, this is a more involved discussion. I mean, should we have a transgender
Oh
section
yeah.
in the bookstore? Yes or no? Or should it just be in the poetry section, right? Because it's great poetry. End of story.
I think that the goal is okay.
Yes?
Let me again explain it from my orientation. I can't speak for the transgender community, right? But when I found, and back when I came out, it was just lesbian and gay. Like there weren't other um, aspects of our community intertwined, and there was even a prejudice in that respect. So we have to be honest as lesbian and gay people. Um, but when I found the lesbian and gay section of the library,
Mm-hmm.
it empowered me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have known if I had just gone to a poetry section or a book section what books would speak to me in the same way. So to me,
Great point.
to
Yeah.
both put it. Why can't you put it in both sections?
Yeah.
I'm sure the computer can figure it out.
That's really a great point. Yeah. You have educated this cis male, and I'm talking about myself, um, identifying as an avatar today. I want to read something. Um, I'm looking around now. Again, I'll put the slurl of this location in the description so people can check it out. This is on this rotating cube. This is very funny. This is also from Freedom House. This is Curriculum Vitae. KB, pronouns, whatever will get me the job. Corporatebody@gmail.com. Surveillance available upon request. Professional summary. Emerging professional well versed in being poor. Ready for the next opportunity to fight for my life. Education. Terminal degree in terror. Expected 2022. Blackness 1995 to present. Queer Adjacent University 2013 to 2017. Trans Exclusionary High School 2009 to 2013, and so on. And it's very funny. Uh, where's this other one? Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm looking for this poem and I'm not finding it, but I do like. Can I read another poem?
yeah. We can go inside. We have the book actually inside here in the bookstore.
Oh, great.
It's in the
Let's.
book. It's not in the LGBTQ plus section, and it's not in the poetry section. It's in the bookstore section.
Good.
It's in
Very
the
good.
Shyla bookstore section. This is Freedom House.
This is Freedom
This
House,
is his.
and
This is their second collection. The first one is called "How to Identify Yourself with a Wound," which is over here. And then I have these other ones. These are free actually on the website earth2kb.com. In Another Life. This is a collaboration with a visual artist. And then this one is also on the website. Nothing was the cause of their deaths. And I think there's another one. I don't have it here, but yeah. Please, what would you like to read, Shala, from Freedom House?
I think let me just try searching one more thing. There's another one that I really like. Here we go. Here it is. Um, this is called Bare Minimum or
Hmm.
To-Do List for White America.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah.
is a great piece. Um, Clean up after yourself. Pick up that book, Chile. You still got a good back. Seek therapy. Don't kill the creative in you. Don't kill black people. Get a job, one that doesn't make you a dictator. Take back 400 years of over contested leadership. Give thanks to the futures you've stolen. Give back what your people call inheritance. Wash your hands. Cut the grass. Don't kill Asian women. Don't have what you call bad days. Don't think that due to fear planted in the roots of your kin, you can't get rid of yourself today. Get a job, one that doesn't require blood from me. I'm low on iron and desire to tell you once again, quit playing. There is a puddle of blood you've shoved into a corner. There is a mop and my people ringed into a bucket of waste. I'll wait.
And again, the title of this one?
KB Brookins. KB Brookins bare minimum or to-do list for white America.
Yeah. Wow. It's I'm gonna zoom out to this poem here uh, because it also has to do with white people. And since we're both white people talking about black people,
Well,
which is, well, today we're going to talk about black people without black people here. Is that okay as an exception, Shyla?
I think
We're
we
appreciating.
we can't. We're not talking in that sense. We're revealing
Yeah,
our perspective. That's the best we can do, and that's why I want to read,
that's right.
because when I read these poems, I think truth. This is the truth. I I, I want it to be different. I'm not sure what other people hear,
Mm.
right, in this.
Well, is it the truth? It feels true to you in the sense that it is truly authentically experienced by the author.
It's honest, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think honesty equates to truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is there's another one that's also great. Well, they're all great. Like, I don't know what to say. I
Mm-hmm.
am reading all of these to people
Mm-hmm.
because I because these are words that aren't spoken,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh, I I
Yes.
think we need to hear them. We need to think about, not just hear them, but think about what is being said. And even as a white person, what is my role in that? Because I have a role in it. I have to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And just to sort of the token, hey, I'm an ally. What can I do? Is sometimes yeah, it's phoning it in, and here is a list.
That's
uh, so yeah, if you're phoning it in, uh, I was gonna put up this slide. Let's hope this works. Yeah, because we prepared this slide. This is something that I underlined in the book in the memoir. Instead of worrying about upholding tradition, I wish that my family was interested in questioning it. What does family mean to us? What have we done to make some people run away? Can we love each other better in the future? So again, we're jumping from their poetry to this memoir, and I think this is really kind of profound because families, and this is my experience too, families are very obsessed with upholding certain traditions. Some of the stuff may be good, I don't know, Christmas or whatever, or Easter egg hunt for the kids. But there could be more, and as we all know, to various degrees, families are dysfunctional. Sometimes really severely so, sometimes less so. And what seldomly happens when we talk about truth and honesty is that within families, the relationship and the improvement of these relationships within the family, this is very seldomly discussed. And I mean, it's hard to discuss. And KB here writes, can we love each other better in the future? And really kind of addressing the question also, what does family mean to us? What have we done that made some people run away? The black sheep. Black sheep is also kind of a
and
stupid term. I'm not black, but I was a little bit of a black sheep. Let's put it that way.
so I think. too, because in our family we had people run away for this kind of reason. And I think what's interesting about this too is never shall the name be spoken of those who ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a way to avoid this question
Mm-hmm.
of what can we do better.
Mm-hmm. I've
And
heard it.
when there are
Mm-hmm.
major life changes, you, there's a need to rethink tradition.
Mm-hmm.
We there were a lot of traditions in my family. Traditions of travel, traditions of cooking, traditions of gatherings. And I like to think now, and it's easier for me because I'm on my own now, that I have reevaluated tradition and what it means to me. Um, and that is something significant to me, right? That I think makes the world maybe a better place, if that's even possible, for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is. I think individuals have tremendous power. And so when we talk about the, oh my gosh, I don't want to give away certain members of my family, but when we talk about these issues, it's also about, do I respect who, right?
Mm-hmm.
For someone, and this, I have someone who has said this, for someone to say, by bringing pronouns like them and they into the equation, that will all be it someday,
Oh my
is
God.
to not respect the person and what they have come to realize, their introspection of who they are. And I think it lacks introspection,
It,
really,
Shyla,
to
you don't
make
have
such
to.
comments.
I mean, I'm gonna be a little bit harsher. I mean, people who blurt out that sorry ass trope, that bullshit phrase, to me,
Yes.
this reveals a level of brainwashing through, frankly, consuming media of a certain type,
Yes.
and including, I'm not only talking extremist right-wing media, but frankly also what people would call liberal media. Anyway, to
I think you're right, because it's not something you.
without reflecting on how
Right.
incredibly stupid, let alone incredibly offensive this is.
Right.
If an adult person says this, uh, it's just too dumb. I mean, people say the dumbest shit, and we need to brutally push back. We don't need to tone police everything, but some stuff is beyond offensive and beyond dumb. And I know it's a complicated time for some people, but if somebody unreflectingly regurgitates this kind of bullshit, I have very, very little patience, to be honest, to sit them down and say, well, uh, I don't know. And I know because KB was here, and I met with KB numerous times, and I'm actually kind of amazed at KB's very sort of measured, and I don't know how they behave in every instance, but uh, KB to me seems to me like someone who is almost too nice. Like I could imagine them and me, and somebody would say this, and KB would say, "Well," and he, in measured tone, kind of explain to the guy or the gal who says shit like that something, and I would be sort of like, "Let's just let's just hit this dude over the head." I mean, it's unbelievable. So anyway, yeah,
You know,
I have no tolerance.
I think um,
Zero tolerance
the
policy.
word uh, maybe what's made me try to explain and maintain some of these relationships is, I was a militant homosexual. And
Yeah,
so I don't want anybody to be able to say I'm militant. I want to be calm. I want to be measured. And I want to
yeah.
explain this is why this is not okay. And it is okay for me to say, it's okay for me to follow that with, if this is your view, I don't know that I can be in this relationship anymore. Right?
That's
I don't
awesome.
know that we, right? And that's
I'm learning from you and KB Shala. I'm learning to be more measured. And that statement, I'm gonna write this down and I'm gonna put it in my wallet and pull it out and then quote it and say, well, if this is your point of view on these types of issues, I'm not 100% sure if I could if I would want to be in a relationship with you of any kind.
right.
So let me read this here that I just put up. This is a poem called KB's Origin Story, which is kind of relating to what we're talking about. Again, what we're doing now, we're doing an appreciation of an author, poet, activist, KB Brookins, who is not here, but they published a memoir called Pretty, which is right here, and two poetry collections and several other projects that are available on their website, earth2kb.com. This is KB's origin story. I was born a weary son painted into a family unit. I can't fit in, but I do fit jeans if I squeeze enough. I pain myself with laughter when someone asks, "Whose baby is this?" I sleep in a tunnel of judgments I can't kick. I was born a dreary daughter crashed into a tiny parked car. In the impact, my feelings sprawl all over the navy leather passenger seat. This can't be a wonderful scene. The navy leather passenger seat and my feelings sprawled all over. A tiny parked car crashes in the impact. I sleep. Whose baby is this? With laughter when someone asks enough, I pain myself. Oh my God, this is formatted wrong. God, I messed up the poem. Okay, let me pick it up at a tiny parked car crashes. A tiny parked car crashes in the impact. I was born a dreary daughter in a tunnel of judgments I can't kick. I sleep. Whose baby is this? With laughter when someone asks enough. I pain myself to fit in. I do fit jeans if I squeeze paint into a family unit. I can't be born a weary son. I'm sorry, guys. You got to pick up this book. It's called Freedom House. I messed up this awesome poem. But Shyla, we gotta wrap it here. Thank you for talking a little bit. I hope we can continue this conversation. The author is KB Brookins. We're on Book Club Island number 4, and I put the slur into the YouTube description. Um, let's end with a hopeful note. I'm gonna ask you the last question. Your take briefly on the importance of this type of expression that KB Brookins and you yourself engage in, poetry specifically, not any type of writing, but poetry. I mean, what can it do? Why is it important in this
To
context?
me, to me, it is a voice that is rarely heard and often dismissed, speaking honestly. And I think it's harder to dismiss personal experience than what somebody's said, that so and so said and so and so said, which makes it distant, or some brochure that tries to explain things
Mm.
handed to us by somebody else. This is KB Brookins sharing KB Brookins' experience. The memoir is that, the poetry is that, and I know we have a few minutes. Can I close with just one more thing? Because I also think it shows the breadth, the diversity
Hmm.
of KB's experience. It's, we talked about transgenderism, we talked about being Black, and this one is about gender in particular.
Another
And
poem? Yes, please. Yeah.
yeah,
Let me
so this
move. I'm
is,
gonna move this over so you can read it. Let me see here. The book stand. So,
okay, you're going to move
oops.
the book stamp.
There you go.
All right, here we go. This one is in Somehow Men Are Nicer to Me Now. They say, "Hey, boss," at me in restaurants. They hand me the check, ask me about the game of who versus cares, give me tips on how to talk to women tangential from the bar. I wonder what about me makes them chipper and chatting thinly about interestless shit. Is this chestlessness? The disappearance wrestled me to the stiff concrete didn't happen. Like everything I've lived through isn't etched in the beard they tell me to marinate in oils. It'll grow, bro, they say. Every man treats me like I'm living now. Somehow, when this life is over, I will have lived both sides of the offensive line. Throw me the ball, fam. I'll be sure to run into a teammate. Tell them how men are the silliest thing since touchdowns were invented. That is KB Brookins, and Somehow Men Are Nicer to Me Now.
Thank you, Charlotte. This is really awesome. This is also, I mean, this is so memorable, and thank you for putting it so succinctly. Why this is so important. Here in the back, I put the slide up. How good it is. How good is it to be bumpy but keen on survival? That's from Freedom House as well. I forgot where I pulled this from. Anyway, so this is an appreciation of KB Brookins. You can get their work, put the website up, and also this will of course stick around. I mean, this venue here, this bookstore, this place, with all the stuff on the walls and everything. Oh yeah, this is another one, a new relationship to pain. This is also free on the website. Um, and I'm just gonna close with saying that this is the last book club event for now. We do have a grand finale, and the grand finale is, when is it? It's November 9th, I believe. Let me just see. Yes, it's the grand finale is on November 9th, and at 12
A
o'clock. 12 o'clock.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. The grand finale, aka we end the show, but we keep on reading. And I hope to see you there. And goodbye, Shyla. Have a good one. And everybody who has been watching this, and everybody who has been a fan and a supporter of authors and reading in general. Reading the good stuff. We're not talking about the Windows Vista manual. Although if you have historical
Conan.
interest, why
Are
not?
we talking about Conan?
What?
Conan? Should we read
No,
Conan?
Windows Vista Windows Vista manual. I'm not sure what that has to do with
I see.
Conan.
I see.
Did Conan write a? I think Conan did write some sort of
I
biography.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Conan wrote biography.
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan
Which
of Conan the Barbarian. Talk about
that's what I
gender
meant. Yeah,
gender
Conan the
stereotypes.
Barbarian.
The strong
Yeah,
man.
your
Okay,
mom's.
my exactly. My mom. Okay, let's not get into this. This is this is gonna be a special show again where I'm gonna just regurgitate these old stories when my mother pretended to have thrown away my Conan books with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover, scantily clad with a sword, and I had all these books. I still have them because my mom actually didn't throw them away. She just pretended to, and I was so pissed off, and she was just worried that I would get into sort of I don't know, that I would just like these gender stereotypes
Oh,
of the stereotypical male, strong man, misogynistic killer of other males to get the scantily clad, big-breasted woman. And all I thought was cool was that Arnold once said, um, "I did not play Conan. I am Conan."
all right.
Let's
Thank you.
everybody forget all this stuff. KB Brookins is important. Okay, goodbye. Bye bye.
Bye, Drax. Bye.
We're all thrown into it, one way or the other. We all try to steer it as straight as we can. Sometimes we collide with each other. Who is to blame? And who's gonna fix the boat? Life, oh life, there's nothing to fear from your life. Let me know if I can be of any help. Life, you and I, let's try a fresh start today. What do you say? Let's close the door on the past. So we swim, and it is in so many ways just a little trick to keep our heads above water. But now I'm not afraid anymore.